Three, two, one. What's up, guys? Another episode of Burning Hints Fantasy Football. I'm here with Hinty, and we're going over second to last week in fantasy. All right, we are definitely live, so that's good to see. Had some big plays. Let's review last week.
All right.
So I've got up because my team's first on my thing, so we're going to go through me. I put up a big number on Snowball. I was pretty happy with that. Pretty happy with that. Miles Sanders killed it. And then, I had that good start on Thursday night, but it's going to be tough for Snowball. Snowball's team's actually not that bad. 110. Would have won a lot of matchups. Would have won every matchup. Wow. Second place this week for Snowball. It's brutal.
Yeah.
You had a tough week against Rob Matz. Do you have anything to say about that?
Not really. Just should have played Mike White. Would have been a game changer in the week.
Yeah. But I mean, Christian Watson, look at that. Still killing it.
Yeah.
Pretty insane. So maybe you can keep it up, but I bet you're pulling for Jordan Love next week or this week.
I have a feeling that it doesn't matter, and Christian Watson's going to keep it up against the Bears this weekend.
Yeah, it's an easy defense. I feel like just go against the Bears at this point. You feel very comfortable. Zach won the head-to-head, and now the records are aligned as they should be, apparently. But low-scoring affair. I mean, their quarterbacks did really well, but outside of that, it was kind of random.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he pulled out Hill, but I don't think it really mattered. Got 0 points to 2.5, but Etienne, brutal, getting out early and only 3 yards.
Yeah.
That was sort of the killer, I feel like.
Especially whenever they say that he could have gone back in.
Yeah, now they're saying that he's going to play this week, so it's kind of, I guess it worked out for the Jags, but it didn't work out for Chris Smart, so kind of bullshit. Nick P got a good win against Kuzi. Kuzi's team just sort of falling apart after losing his top two players in different fashions.
Yeah. And now Kuzi has to deal with the loss of Najee Harris more than likely.
Yeah.
And just that his playoff shots are looking bleak. Even if he does make it, it'll be a tough task to do much with. But it does look like Nick P with that win basically locks up a playoff berth. It'll be he'd have to completely crash and burn at this point to lose it.
I think even if he crashes and burns 8-6, you're gonna get it in. Stein, this was brutal, man. I was watching this because I think James Taylor lost like 3 yards on like the last. I mean, I guess then it would have been 0.04 points, but I'm pretty sure Jonathan Taylor lost 3 yards on like the last play he played in. So that was like kind of tough to see that happen, but it really went down the wire for him. He got lucky that Stein didn't play Joe Mixon, but brutal way for.
That's definitely brutal, especially because if you get that win, he's 100% still in contention.
Yeah, and
he got the goose egg from Juwan Johnson where he could have started David Njoku.
Yeah, he lives by the Juwan Johnson. He dies by the Juwan Johnson. So that's really what it came down to for Colin Strange at the end there. And then we had the battle of the top dogs. Oh, I'm wrong. That Snowball got second. I didn't see the bottom score of Alex and Chris Gregg going at it. Super close. And, we thought this would be a good game. And it turned out to be just tough. I mean, how do you lose with Josh Jacobs putting up 45 points?
That's insane. Just to have someone put up 45 and not win just has to be a killer.
And I feel like it's time to start looking for whoever's playing Houston because that team is just such a disaster at this point. Defense getting 21 points.
Yeah. Is a killer. That is 100% true. Whoever is playing Houston, I think like the top 3 teams to play your defenses again are Houston, Indianapolis, and the Rams.
Yeah, the Rams now because it sounds like they're shutting down Donald, so it's really over.
Well, I mean, even before Donald went, I mean, before like the entire year playing your defense against the Rams has been incredible.
Really? Dang. All
Yeah,
right.
because their offensive line just isn't there, so they give up sacks constantly.
Yeah, sacks and turnovers. Yeah, Stafford had so many picks. It was like kind of insane. But now we're going over the standings, and we all thought Stein would be in first place as we're going into the playoffs with the most points for the best record. Pretty insane.
I I don't think anyone saw this happening, especially with him also doing this basically in the other league too.
Yeah, and also he just the rookies worked out for him sort of, but he's losing Mooney. I mean, we'll see if it works out in the. I mean, he's got Burks. I feel like he had another one. Brooks, Rashad White, Garrett Wilson, and I thought he drafted someone else. Maybe I'm wrong, but I remember Brees Hall. Brees Hall was the other one.
Yeah, Brees Hall was the other one, and losing him definitely stung. But I mean, you got to think like White at this point might be the go-to back there for Tampa. I mean, he's been running better than Fournette's run all year. The Jets made the smart and right decision for their football team and put in the better quarterback of Mike White. And you're going to see Garrett Wilson basically get probably 7 or 8 targets the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean his best games were against Cleveland with Joe Flacco, and now Mike White with Chicago against
Yeah.
Chicago. So definitely a
And,
big boost for everyone on the Jets, and we'll see if someone tries to pick up Davis or Elijah Moore for a quick point. You never know. But
I was also
Chicago,
going to say his last rookie on Treylon Burks. I mean, the last
turning it
2
around.
games look pretty solid now that he's getting healthy and playing.
Yeah, I'll be starting Burks in the Dynasty League this week just because I need someone and looks good. And all those targets is just kind of crazy. 686.
Yeah.
Um, but outside the 8 and 4s, we have Alex, who has by far the most points, uh,
Yeah.
going at 7 and 5. Kind of brutal, but I think he'll be okay. And then me and Zeldot over at 6 and 6. Pretty happy with myself at this point. But last year I crumbled at the end, so I'm praying for not. And then we have pretty much everyone else just trying to get in those last 2 spots. So it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. I mean, 2 6 and 6, and then what 5 5 and 7s. So
Yeah.
it'll be tough going for this week. I mean, I think if we hop over to the matchups for week 13, um, Chris and I are playing. That's 2 5 and 7s. Um, whoever loses that is basically out. Rob Matz plays Zach. I mean, I'd say if you're 5 and 7, you have to win this week. Um, so I mean, if Rob wins, he's still in it. Zach falls down into the gunk with everyone else, and then Steven and Kuzi play. That's another battle of 5 and 7s. Ooh, you have a tough matchup against Nick P.
Yeah, I'm not happy about it.
Um, then another battle of the top teams right there between Stein and Chris Gregg.
Yeah, it's kind of nice that everything's sort of falling into next week. We'll kind of decide it all. So they're not going to
Yeah.
be, points fours, hopefully. But I think it will come down to points for at least like 2 teams.
Yeah. I mean, I would like looking at this week alone. I mean, if Rob beats Zach and Nick P beats you, you're going to have 5 teams all tied going into that last week.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Do you have any predictions for the week?
Um, I'm going to take Chris Smart in my matchup because I think he'll beat me. I'm going to take Rob Matz's team
Rob
because
Matz.
Nick Chubb is about to go off against Houston.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy. Not even.
Yeah.
I guess they might try to keep it away from Watson.
I mean, well, it doesn't matter. It's like one of those things that you were saying earlier how Miami put up 3 touchdowns against Houston. Why would you throw the ball if you're up 4 scores before half?
Hmm.
So I
Yeah.
mean, calling it now. Nick Chubb, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns.
How wild would it be if, Kuzi leading, I think he started like 3-0 or something crazy, and then loses Nick Chubb, and Nick Chubb takes Rob Matz to the playoffs.
That
That'd be
would be
crazy.
pretty spectacular and funny.
Yeah. And you said you're taking Snowball over Kuzi, right?
I did not say that,
Oh, okay.
but I think I'm gonna take. Oh man, that is a brutal matchup.
Says Najee's playing, at
Um,
least right now.
I think I'm gonna go with. I think I'm gonna go with Snowball's team.
I feel like
Um,
it's just hard to see. I mean, what is. Kuzi's lost how many in a row?
uh,
Usually it says something.
it doesn't say on the web app.
1. I'm pretty sure it's 4. 2.
Kuzi has
3.
lost 4 in a row
4 in a
now.
row. Yeah.
So
Too
5 and
bad.
3 to 5 and 7.
Steelers are just now as good as the Jets, and that's what it comes down to. I guess it comes down to, I mean, Nick P will have a chance, but Chris Gregg versus Stein for the top seed. Did you already mention who you thought you're going to pull out that one?
Um, I've been going all in on. I'm looking at the matchup. I'm going with Stein's team. Stein's team just looks too good. I mean, Chris Gregg's team looks too good.
Yeah, and we'll see if Stein actually sets his lineup.
Yeah,
Crazy
that's
stuff.
also true.
I'll take myself against Nick P. You gotta have confidence in your team, but I
I'm gonna take Nick P in that.
can't say I'm that confident. Need some big days. I'm worried about whether to play Damian Pierce or someone else because that's sort of just a toss
Hey,
up.
I mean, Cleveland's one of your best matchups to play your running backs against.
Yeah, if they could get blown out, and it's whether I play. I got Elliott and Robinson, so it's tough. Elliott's pretty good against Indianapolis, but
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a tough call, but I mean, it's also one of those things that, like, you're looking at um, probably one of the best matchups the entire year, but I mean, even over the last like 5 weeks, Cleveland is the number 4 team to play your running back against.
yeah, they're
So
awful. Um, so I'm just gonna show the playoff thing real quick, just because we already know everything. But right now it'd be Stein and Chris Gregg with the buys, and then me versus Herrera, and then obviously Nick P and Zach. We'll see how it shakes up from there. But before we get, do you have anything else to talk about with the Fool's Ball League?
um, great pickup by Nick P grabbing the Tampa Bay defense this week against New Orleans. Um, Other than that, not really.
Gotcha. All right, we're gonna head over to the chat as it's blowing up right now. I'm not sure if you can see the YouTube chat, but I
I
keep getting
don't
calls from
have it up
people.
right now.
Oh well, let's see. That's a Chris Gregg decision. Change the laws. I don't get what they're even saying. Oh my god. Be coherent. They want to talk about not F1 for once. Actually, I see some tennis rackets from Tony Beats. Crazy, crazy stuff in the chat. They want to be a gunk guy. Apparently, don't know what that means. All right,
Sorry, I'm not looking at the chat right now. I don't have up my second monitor.
gotcha. Yeah, I don't have a second one. I stay away from my work office after work. Screw that. All right, Dynasty League. Big news. Big, big, big news in the Dynasty League.
Yeah.
Nick Wilburn
Yeah.
got his
Nick
W.
Wilburn, congratulations. First win of the season. And it was a close one.
Yeah. Pretty crazy. Really came down to Zach Wilson. I guess Owen just loves Zach Wilson, so he just left him in, gave him that W because Matt Ryan would have saved him. Would have saved him. But now
Yeah.
I'm a little worried because I'm actually not supposed. I'm only favored by like a little bit against Dad by 5 points. So I'm a little worried it's gonna go take the hot streak and knock me off after finally going above 500.
Hey, I mean, I got a matchup against Dad next week. I think it. I am not going. I'm going to definitely trying to win, but I think I'd be pretty happy if he was able to finish out the year with a 3-game hot streak.
Could overtake Owen.
Yeah,
Yeah, pretty
3-game hot
crazy.
streak closes up the year and finishes first of the two finalists
Yeah.
of last.
Other crazy game. Chris Gregg beat Alex by less than like 2 or 3 points in both leagues. So another insanely close game. Kind of brutal for
Yeah,
Alex. Just tough. I mean, difficult.
yeah.
I don't know if you have anything to say about that, but at least it's
I
the
mean,
regular season, you know.
if I was Chris Gregg, I would definitely be talking a lot of smack after winning those games as close as he did.
Yeah,
And
it's tough.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
Chris Smart shattered by Nick P after putting up 175. I mean, that's brutal.
yeah, putting
I
up the
picked I
second
picked
most
Chris
points in
Smart.
the league and not getting the wins is brutal.
Yeah, Chris Smart's hanging there. It's not over yet. Cause oh man, Nick P's only 6-6. I thought Nick P was doing better this year. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, no,
Um,
both those two teams are fighting for that last playoff spot. Like they're probably like the front runners. I could technically still make it, but I'd have to win my last two matchups and hope for some lucky draws.
yeah, the good thing is for Chris Smart, he's up 50 or 60 points on both you guys. So if there is a record, push, he's gonna get more points. I mean, he's got more points than Chris Gregg does. It's
I
kind of
mean,
crazy.
the bad news is for him is he does play Chris Gregg next week, and then follows that up by playing Alex.
Brutal. Yeah, I don't want to play against Alex. Is the one I feel like everyone should be afraid of. 180,
Yeah,
1,800 points. It's a lot more than everybody else. But Stein is in second with points and tough. Another loss for Connor Lestrange. I feel
yeah.
like he could have had this one. I think a lot of people were. I was rooting for him. I just needed someone to take down Stein, but Stein clinches the division. If you haven't already.
Yeah. I mean, close enough. He has a 2-game lead on you, and he's got enough points on you.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen. But tough, man. Stein actually dominating both leagues.
Yeah,
We already went over the dad one, and then we had me sweeping you 3-0 against Scott Hinty. How's it feel?
yeah. Pretty awful because without playing you this year, I'm 5-4.
Yeah,
Got a
well, then
winning
I'm four
record
and
without
five.
you.
You're free money. But I guess it'll be. I mean, we'll figure it out next year whether there are going to be teams that play against us 3 times because we probably aren't the only teams that played against each other 3 times.
I did my best to avoid it, but I definitely made some mistakes clearly in making the schedule this year. Hopefully, I do better next year.
Yeah, it's fine. It worked out for me, so I can't complain. But we'll move on to next week, and we already mentioned one thing. What was the one we mentioned?
We mentioned Chris Smart has to play Chris Gregg this week.
Yeah, but Chris Smart's favored by quite a bit. I'm assuming that this is people not playing, but actually they
Yeah.
both have all the players in, and he's projected to win by 30 almost.
Yep. Oh man, got some brutal bye weeks for Chris this week.
Tough stuff. Well,
Not having Kyler in there this week is gonna hurt, and James Conner both out.
and don't sleep on Donta Foreman. He's been killer for the Carolina Panthers. Absolutely dominant. But yeah, I'm pulling for Chris Smart. Let's get another W, and let's
I'm
make the
pulling for
playoffs
Chris
there.
Gregg.
You want those draft picks?
There's a chance right now that I finish with the top 2 picks in the draft. And I
We'll see.
kind of wanted that to
Poker
happen.
smart. Uh, you're going against Nick P this week, and this will kind of
Yes.
decide your destiny, whether you
Yeah.
can make
So,
it. What's your confidence level?
I mean, not very high. My team's it's really tough not having like I have Fields in the lineup right now, but I don't expect him to play, so I'll probably have to pivot to probably Pacheco. But it's just it's looking rough in terms of. I mean, I lost Mooney this week, who's not been anything special, but he's been important to the team. So it's just injuries piling up. I feel like the last few weeks I've lost a player each week that has gone down to a season ender.
Yeah, and it feels like Nick P seems just kind of. I mean, this is now the time where Josh Allen's going to start playing. Josh Jacobs is going on fire. Aaron Jones, not so much, but
But
Cooper
he
should
plays
be.
Chicago this week and
Yeah,
should put up a hell of a game.
yeah. And then Cooper and Hawkinson are actually looking good, and Cooper should be even better. And Rashad White has been coming up. Kamara's been a little disappointing, but let's see if he can turn it around. I mean, this is a
Yeah.
big rivalry game, so hopefully that for him. And then Jared Goff's looking okay, so we'll see. Um,
Yeah.
Nick
So
P
I
has
mean,
some good
and I don't
momentum.
expect him to play the Bills defense this week, but he did just grab the Bills defense off the waiver wire.
Oh dang! I guess that makes sense. I mean, the Patriots can't really do anything against the Bills recently, so we can briefly go over Stein and Owen. This game is sort of not
Yeah.
consequential.
Let's not worry about Owen's team. It's brutal and it's probably not going to be much better this week, but Stein's team moving into the playoffs here. This team looks pretty terrifying. Like you got Mahomes, Eckler, Barkley, McLaurin, you got Garrett Wilson stepping up now. You have Chase coming back from injury. You have ETN, who's been on fire and should play again this week. You got Jamal Williams. And I've been off the Trevor Lawrence like hype train all year, but he's currently the number 12 quarterback in in our scoring,
Number
which
10, according to me. Looking at it right
yeah,
now.
okay, sorry, number 10, sorry. Um, but he said it just doesn't seem like it because he's had some really bad games in there, but I mean 22, 20, 15, 15, 24. I mean, it's he's playing better than I realized. So
Yeah, whenever you want to admit he's gonna be good, let me know. I'll accept it. Uh,
I'll wait.
yeah, I love Doug Peterson. Um, and we
And then
have week. Wait,
we
what's
got your
that?
matchup against Dad. Let's do this one.
Yeah, it's a little scary. I'm a little nervous. My running backs are not in good shape. Nick Chubb's pretty much carrying my team, but I guess his running backs aren't much better. I have a lot of bad buys. Hopkins is out. DJ Moore's out. That's two of my top receivers. So right now I have who was the one? Oh, I put in Burks. We'll see. I've been playing Curtis Samuel all year. Hopefully he has another big game. And then P Ryan, I'm just praying that this projection's off because 5 points seems a little bit low. I know it's probably
I mean,
unlikely compared to what he was playing with Mixon, but I can't imagine Mixon's getting that much. Maybe they want to play him a little bit more because he's played well.
they're saying that they want to put that Nixon should be back from the injury this week and should be good to go.
Yeah, I
And
assume so, but close to the playoffs,
interesting,
rest in.
interesting choice going with he who shall not be named over Jimmy Garoppolo.
I feel like you gotta Garoppolo versus Miami. I don't like that. Miami's just rolling.
Miami is giving up points to the quarterback position over the last 5 weeks outside of Houston, whereas Houston, believe it or not, in the last 5 weeks is the second worst matchup for quarterbacks.
it's because they
Only
let up so
giving
many
up
points so early.
exactly only giving up 12.6 points per game to the QB because QBs don't have to throw and they're just running the ball. So scary play going with the guy who's not played in a year and a half against the team that they won't have to throw.
Well, it'll make the upset even sweeter for Dad if that happens then. But I honestly thought about Mariota before I thought about Garoppolo just because I'm a little bit skittish that Miami might roll a little bit after 49ers have been so hot recently and everyone getting hurt again. But I mean,
Man, just looking at Dad's roster, this could be an 8-3 squad right here.
maybe next year. I don't believe
in
that.
all honesty, though, he does have some good pieces moving into next year. Like Drake London's going to be great. St. Brown will be perfectly fine. I think Evans will bounce back on his touchdowns. This year, it's been pretty rough for him. What's his total on the year for touchdowns? He's looking
I
at
think he had 2.
Yeah, he has
3.
3 touchdowns all year, and on average, I mean, going back 14, 13, 8, 8, 5, 12. This is the fewest touchdowns he's had since his second season in the league, and that was his worst season in the league.
Yeah, and that's the
So,
sophomore slump season. I mean, that's what
yeah.
happens.
So I think Evans will bounce back. Ayuk looks good. Schultz looks good. And, I mean, we'll see what Pickett becomes, but
Pickett looked good on Monday.
Yeah, he looked. That was the best game that he looked all year.
Yeah, it's crazy. Ritter still hasn't played, but I guess that should be happening soon once they get out to contention. If that does happen,
Yeah, once they're eliminated, then he gets to see if he has a QB in Ritter or not. And I'm hopeful that like Ritter can be something because they aren't going to have a QB option in the draft.
yeah,
They won too many games.
It's a weird team, the Falcons. Last game, I'm surprised by the point projections are so freaking high. Lestrange and the Cat Dog. Not surprising that the Cat Dog's that high, but Lestrange crazy high this week. But he's got Walker and McCaffrey. I mean, it's pretty crazy. He's still riding with Jawan Johnson. Let's see if that works out. So he's doing a 2 tight end set. What do you think about this game?
Absolutely hate the 2 tight end set. I think a sneaky play for his team is actually starting Tyron Davis-Price on his team. I know people are calling for like Mason was the one who took over for Mitchell last week because Price was out and a healthy scratch. But actually, I take that back. There's also Donovan Peoples-Jones. I would play both of those guys over Juwan Johnson this week. Just don't play 2 tight ends.
Well, we'll see. He's gonna live and die by Jawan Johnson. Let's see if it works out this week, or maybe he changes that up. A harsh criticism on the double tight ends from Scott Hinty.
I will say I'm actively rooting for Connor to lose in both leagues. Well, I mean, honestly, the other league he's done. I just don't want to see him win any more championships.
Yeah, a little conceited with his little Discord.
There's one championship.
All right, anything else you want to bring up?
Not really. Just we'll see. It'll be interesting to see how this year plays out for the remainder of Dynasty. I think it's pretty clear that all the positions are pretty clear except for the last spot in this league between Chris Smart and Nick P, and it'll be interesting to see how they play out.
Just as a reminder, I'm in that little spot too, because only the top division leaders get that auto bid. So I'm in the wild card with the rest of them. So kind of Lestrange, me, and Nick P and Chris Smart.
Oh no, I look at it and I don't see you and Connor both losing.
I have to lose
your
to Dad.
last 2 games.
Tough.
Yeah, I feel like you can win this week and wrap up that spot. I guess Connor could also potentially be the team that gets left out.
But we'll see. Connor plays Nick P next week, so that will be knock someone out.
It'll be
Uh,
interesting to see where everyone falls. But I mean, I think Alex will probably end up taking that matchup uh, between the two of them.
yeah, but if Alex wins and then Alex plays Chris Smart next week, and then Lestrange plays Nick P, Lestrange could easily come back and in. And I play with Stein, who I've not beaten yet, so at
That's gonna be a
all.
tough matchup end of the year. But I
Losing to
mean,
Dad and then Stein, pretty
I
brutal.
think you'll be able to take Dad this week. As much as I think it'd be really cool for him to kind of win out to close out the year, I think it'll be pretty tough for him to do that. It as even though his team could be 8-3, it would take a psychic to actually have that type of record for his team. It's just so many boom bust guys that are more bust than boom.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think this is gonna wrap it up. We'll talk next week, and I think maybe we'll allow some. I'm getting my phone blown up from people that want to call in. I'm not gonna do that this week, but we'll talk about it for next week or maybe the playoff. You know, maybe right before the playoffs, we'll have some guests on the show. If that's okay
Maybe.
with you. We'll talk about it. All right. Have a good night, guys. All right.
Who was trying to call in Connor?
Tony. I need to
Tony.
wait until this ends the stream.